The new moon coming in Aries is going to be conjunct Chiron. It says everything about what the intention is with this new moon phase. It's a new beginning with wisdom this time. What this indicates is healing of past pains, injuries, limitations, inadequacies in the identity. The moon brings past themes into the healing process. And this declares that you're starting with wisdom now, where before you were starting with the hurt, with the pain, with the injury. This time you get to start with wisdom. What this does is it changes your frequency. I don't like the commercial words myself. Frequency, energy, positive vibes, namaste. All these, I can't stand these commercial verbiage. But it's the best way that I can communicate or express what it is. It's a change in your frequency. It's a change in your vibration. It's a change in your energy. It's a change in your aura. It's a change in what carries the feel, the delivery, and the presence of your identity. It stabilizes that first house identity. What does it mean to stabilize the first house identity? Is that your first house is in agreement with the 12th house. That agreement is universal love, compassion, understanding, acceptance, empathy, wisdom, insight. It's all there behind the identity. It's not something that you're running away from. It's not something that you're trying to cover. It's not something you're trying to deny or pretend. It's not there. You recovered your shadows and you brought them out into the identity. And because you recovered the shadows through the Scorpio Stellium phase, and Sagittarius Black Bull Lilith is where we make presentation boldly with our shadows in the journeys that we approach in life. This reads as authentic. When you show up authentic, you're righteous. Authenticity is righteousness. Righteousness is not to put on a persona of being a quote-unquote good person, a righteous person, doing all the right things. You show up with, the gel in your hair and your necktie is real tight. You talk all proper and you got your shirt tucked in your pants. That's not righteousness. Righteousness is not to go to church every day or go to the mosque and pray to the east. In fact, in the Holy Quran, Allah says the same thing. Righteousness is not to turn your head to the east, which refers to prayer, the 5 daily prayers. That's not righteousness. Righteousness is that you are being authentic, that you are being sincere, that you mean well. And meaning well is not to worship your intentions as being good, but making all efforts, every effort, to put awareness behind what you're doing as well, so that you can claim the accountability and responsibility that goes with who you are, what you're doing, what you're saying, and how you're moving and operating in life. That there's accountability and moral commitment. You remember these two. These are the two pillars that upholds what we claim as freedom. At this point, we should be free persons. A free person is someone who moves with full awareness and acceptance of accountability and moral commitment. A free person is someone who respects the square in the self, Aries, first house, and square to Capricorn and 10th house, Cancer, and 4th house. Okay? That's a free person. At Capricorn, the free person, they hold and harness accountability. A free person holds moral commitment. A free person has a conscience. A free person consults the oracle in the self before taking actions and making decisions. That the inner child is okay with this. That my moral compass has sanctioned this. The free person is responsible with what they do and say. They don't do and say what they're not willing to answer to, what they're not willing to admit to, what they're not willing to claim and own. Should it be found out? Should it be examined? Should it be questioned? Should someone ask? There's no deflection, there's no dodging, there's no running, there's no blaming, there's no rolling over, playing possum and victim. That's a free person. We were misinformed or misled about what freedom is. Back when the corporate regime through the Democratic left were using females to mislead people in what freedom and liberation should look like, i.e. liberals, liberation, Democratic left, okay? Females of American society during the Obama era and the Biden era, they were abusing freedom, misusing freedom, dodging accountability while hurting themselves and others. They were stripping themselves and others of moral commitment, stripping themselves of having a conscience. They were abusing their inner child and calling it freedom. It was the exact opposite. So this time around, we have to live through freedom, remembering these things. And that's what Aries is meant to do. Aries is meant to act through freedom. When that's the case, we feel authorized to act through Aries. The authorization comes from the Divine Mother, Cancer. It comes from the Divine Father, Capricorn. That is these two contexts of Divine Mother and Divine Father. That's who Aries consults, not the law of the land, Libra. Not public opinion, the court of public opinion, Libra. Not status quo, Libra. Not looking at what other people might agree or disagree with, or rather or not you're going to lose friends, or rather or not somebody's going to like you anymore. Will you be popular? Will you get validation? Will you get monetized? Will you get praise? Will you get the girls that comes with it? All of these Libra themes. South Node Libra. Come on, people, pay attention. Stick with me. I'm trying to help you to see, Libra is in polarity to this. So it's realizing these things. And what are we closing out? We're closing out the full moon Libra, okay? Which is why this sounds very familiar. All of the things that I just mentioned goes with South Node Libra closing. It also goes with the full moon Libra closing, okay? These are the themes of the toxic Democratic left, extremes, feminism, all right? These go with the toxic things that we learn from feminists in American and Western culture. The programming that took us away from our humanity, our morals, our values, our self-respect, our dignity, and even our intelligence. We block our intelligence when we block truth. Cancel culture came out of these social agendas. Cancel culture is meant to block, discourage, frustrate, and punish truth sayers, and to frustrate the movement of truth or the circulation of truth. It's supposed to stop truth. Truth transfers direct power and authority to the people through awareness. It causes transformation. It causes change. It causes revolt, rebellion, revolution, empowerment. When there's truth, the people cannot be slaves. You cannot enslave those who know the truth, who embody the truth, and who have the courage to act on the truth. If you could stop the truth, you could stop the people's power. You could stop them from regenerating power. You could stop their relationship with courage, with boldness. You could block their wisdom. You also block their intelligence, because when cancel culture prevails and succeeds, there's no longer pattern recognition, because we start to teach ourselves that we don't see what we're really seeing, that we don't know what we really know, that what is really happening is not really happening. Why? Because we have been shamed into silence. We've been controlled. And they use the least suspecting person to do that, which is the highly attractive female. The females who look very good, very sexy, very alluring, desirable, the body, the face, the makeup, and everything else. And when they look in the camera's always moving and shaking all over the place, and they take these little angles where they could, try to look all sexy and cute and all this stuff. And, you know how the girls do. I can't imitate, how girls do it. Obviously I'm just, some ugly dude talking, you understand? But there's a lot of power. There's tremendous power, magic, and witchcraft in viewing an attractive female. The power of witchcraft is in the woman's image, her looks. It can distract you. It can disarm you. It can turn your brain off. It can stop you from arriving at the proper conclusions. It can retard you. It can make you dumb. It can make you stupid. We were hit with artillery that we were not even able to understand, and it's called a female. Americans were hit with artillery that they still to this day don't even know they were hit with. It's called beautiful women. I don't like to use the word beauty because beauty and pretty is different, but you know what I mean. Sexy women. I'm talking about women who are very, very attractive. That's the most dangerous weapon. It's a soft weapon to use on citizens, on the people. When you can't take a musket, when you can't take a bullet, a knife, when you can't just blatantly just arrest, people, control people because you haven't conditioned them yet to accept these things, which that certainly is happening. You use what's always been used to control the threat, which is the male, the man, the men of the society, the muscle of the society, the strength, the grit of society. the ones who wear the size 15 shoes. How do you control and disarm these people so there's no threat? You use beautiful women. You use the power, the magic, the sorcery, the witchcraft of very attractive females. You give them an illusion of empowerment. You give them education. You protect them, make them the most protected species, obvious in society. You make sure there's no consequence for their behaviors and actions. You enable the worst out of them. You condone the worst out of them. You promote the worst out of them. It's all social engineering. And when you do that, you disarm the people. We had to evolve to learn how to fight back against that artillery, that weaponry. We had to learn how to fight back against the woman who's being used as artillery. Because you can't fight her directly. She doesn't know that this is what she's being used for. She doesn't know that she's being used as an agent. She doesn't know that she's being used as a tool. She doesn't know that she's being used to dumb the people down, to disarm the people, to make the people stupid, to make the people disconnected from truth. She doesn't know that she's being used to lift up cancel culture. She doesn't know that she's being used to strip the society of its morals. She doesn't know she's being used to divide the families and separate the families and weaken the families. She doesn't know these things. All she sees is that she has an opportunity to have any job, career that she wants. She can get her own credit card, go to college. I have a PhD. She can speak her accolades of what degrees she got, her corporate jobs, and money. Can't, remember, Capricorn was the aim and interest of feminism. It was all about Capricorn. The point of feminism is to detach yourself from Cancer so that you can obsessively indulge in Capricorn. That's also the crisis of white supremacy and incorporation of the globe. So this is where the exposure is at and why our puppet masters designed feminism in the first place. It wasn't about, women should have equal rights and equality. It's entirely corporate. It's Capricorn interests. Because when you step outside of the corporate ideal and the Capricorn interests, women want no part of equality. They want no part of it. They want to stay in the position of the woman because that's where they see opportunity, meaning, fulfillment, and where it makes sense for them. It's entirely corporate. And so when you don't know, when you can't see the enemy, you can't fight the enemy. And women were used as a tool, an enemy that we can't fight because we love her. She's our sister. She's our mother. She's our daughter. You understand? She's who we love. She's who we were taught and raised to protect, to defend, to not be hard on. And it still should be that way. But how do you tell your wife that she's getting fat and she needs to get to the gym? How long does it take to tell your wife that she's fat and she needs to go to the gym? Okay? She's not like your brother, your uncle, or whoever else where you could just tell them directly and say, hey, nigga, you getting fat. You need to go to the gym. You getting sloppy. You falling off. You can't talk to a woman like that. What takes 5 minutes to tell something to a man, it takes 5 months to tell it to a woman. You have to perfect your wisdom to tell women the simplest things without hurting their feelings, without offending them, without causing them to clutch their pearls and become guarded or feel like, something's wrong. You understand? You can't talk to women any kind of way. You have to choose precise words for particular things. Okay? So to tell a man, you could tell a man the truth in 5 minutes. But the same truth, you have to tell a woman that over the course of 5 months, because you have to add so much sugar and flavor and all these fancy things for her to get the message without being injured. You understand? So what I'm describing to you is, how do we as a society protect ourselves and defend ourselves against our women being used as weapons when they don't know they're being used as weapons? And if you try to correct them, you have to use truth. You have to use clever, wise, articulate, and complex communication skills. You have to grow wiser to reach her. It could take decades to evolve to the level of wisdom that it takes to show women as a collective that you have been a useful idiot. You took our families from us. You took our fathers from us. You took our brothers and our husbands away from us. You made our sons bitches. You made them weak. You made them useless. You dumbed down the society with silly videos with your nipples and your pussy all in the camera 24/7. You come on the internet and you have this power of influence that commands attention, but you mistake that as being wisdom. You're not able to tell that your audience is there because you're showing them your pussy, you're showing them your nipples, you're showing them your ass. But you would think, oh, they're here because what I'm saying is wise, what I'm saying is valuable, what I'm saying is meaningful. No, they like your titties. They like your ass. Niggas want to fuck. They're lusting over you. It's not that what you're saying is unique, it's special, it's sophisticated, it's no, you're attractive, and that's as simple as it is. It is nothing else. It's not any deeper than that. You make a dick hard. Because you make a dick hard, you have a big audience. You have a big following. You have a lot of attention that you can hold and keep. But you can't tell women the truth without adding lots of sugar to it, flavors. And so when it comes to somebody like me, the infamous, who's very direct, I end up looking like a heretic. I sound crazy. I sound like, you know what I'm saying, I hate women or something like that. No, I'm simply being direct. I could talk to men like this all day, but it just so happens that in the astrology space or spiritual, space, there's a lot of women. I'm all the way masculine. Usually in spiritual spaces, astrology, things like that, you got a lot of gay people when they're black, okay? Black men in astrology and spirituality, they usually are gay, effeminate, they soft, you know what I'm saying? They hand is broke, if you know what I mean. You know, they're extreme liberal, democratic, left. They just sweet, you know what I mean? They got sugar in their tank. I'm all the way, heterosexual, straight, beat my chest, scratch my nuts type nigga, you know what I'm saying? And it kind of startles people because it's like, okay, what you doing here? Why are you even here? You understand what I'm saying? And I'm just being direct. And it's really shocking because we became a society that got so alienated from our fathers to where we don't have the wiring in us to receive masculine without adding soda to it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you used to eat drinking these sweet martinis. And if I pour you some, some bourbon or some Jack Daniels or something with no sugar in it, with no soda, no Coke or nothing, it's like you're startled, you're shocked, but anyway, so that's the collective view. But personally, we're healing what had us not to accept who we are. We're healing what had us to hesitate, owning and claiming who we are. You're starting from where you already attempted in the past. It may be different characters, different environments, different themes, but it's going to be the same essence, the same meaning. Understand that. Taking a different form. But this time you start with wisdom. This time you're going to realize that you've healed what's behind your identity, which is the 12th house. The first house is the physical embodiment of the 12th house concept. Understand that. This is why Mars first has to meet Neptune before meeting Chiron. Okay, listen. When Mars meets Neptune, Mars is letting go of the Virgo narcissism that he has embodied in the identity, okay? So when he comes to the identity Aries, he's home, which is yourself, your concept of yourself, the feel of yourself, the vitality of yourself, the conviction of yourself. So when he comes in there, he meets Neptune. Neptune is saying, hey, by the way, I was looking around your crib and I noticed all this Virgo stuff, you know, these Virgo agendas you got going. And Mars is like, yeah, I was working on a few things, you know what I'm saying? And Neptune is like, okay, this is a little controlling. This is a little bit, it's superficial because, you know, listen, Mars, I need you to have a seat. And Neptune is saying to Mars, you know, this is a little narcissistic. And it's narcissistic because you're doing all this because you want people to see you as being this perfect person. You want people to see you as somebody who has it all together. You've been looking on the internet and you've been comparing yourself to different people, relationship goals, or this person just got a 5-bedroom house, or this person, you know, has the perfect body. They're in the gym and they, you know, eating, you know, rabbit food and doing, you know, and jogging and running and stuff like that. You can see all the veins all in their body and six pack. You know, this person has a life together and you don't. This person is getting to the bag, so they say, and you not. People are showing you and telling you what they want you to see on the internet, and you eating that shit up and you believe in it, and you start comparing yourself. And now you fall into this narcissistic hysteria with yourself where you feel like you have to figure out a way to get perfect, and you got to get perfect quick. You know what I'm saying? And in these attempts for perfection, it crushes your ability to accept yourself. It crushes and it destroys your self-esteem. It crushes, it diminishes and destroys what is authentic about you. And what ends up happening is you start projecting that onto people, you know, like again, females, okay? These ridiculous standards of, oh, I don't want no man that work no 9 to 5. I don't want no man with no job. He got to be 6 feet tall. He got to make $200,000 a year. He got to have a 6-pack. He got to this and that. Don't take me to no, what were they saying the other day? Don't take me to no, I don't want to go on no coffee date. I don't want to go to Applebee's. I don't want to go to Cheesecake Factory. It's just ridiculous shit that females are on the internet spewing out confessions of their low self-esteem, confessions of their defeat inside of their self, confessions of their sense of inadequacy in their self. Because when a person makes these ridiculous demands of others, it's a confession of their sense of failure in the demands that they have upon themselves. It's a confession. You understand? It's mostly Black American females who, you know, led this culture, who led this design. Anything with feminism and these extremes that females are going to, it came from Black American females on how to exemplify it. And it became a very toxic culture with American females overall, okay? And we're learning to let go of these anxiety triggers that tells us that we're supposed to be perfect instead of authentic. That tells us that we're supposed to pretend like we have it all together instead of finding grace, acceptance, gratitude, appreciation for where we are in our process of evolution in the self. You understand? So these Virgo type traits of nitpicking and having to have so much control and displeasure in everything, dissatisfaction in everything. You get many blessings in your life. Many things were destined for you in your life, and you threw it away because it wasn't perfect. You threw away relationships, you threw away persons, you threw away opportunities, you threw away so much in your life because it wasn't perfect. You threw the baby out with the bathwater. So this is Neptune telling Mars, don't throw anything away or waste anything or block yourself from your blessings just because it's not perfect. I need you to be realistic here. I need you to lean into grace in yourself. I need you to stop being so obsessed with rigid 22 energy. Okay, that's the rigid 22 energy. Neptune is getting Mars to incorporate more 7 rather than 22. You understand? So the 22 is, it's, okay, let me give you an example. I believe I'm under this social anxiety that I'm supposed to be so perfect. So I go to the China store and I'm buying all these expensive wigs, all this makeup. I gotta go whole glamour girl every time I get on the camera, every time I go to work, every time I go to the grocery store. You know, I go whole glam. Back in the day, women didn't go glam unless it was special occasions. You know what I'm saying? But this generation, the self-esteem is so low in the women, they feel like they have to go glam every day of the year. It's like an athlete that gets on steroids. You don't believe in yourself. You don't trust yourself. You feel like you can't do it. You can't, you can't run as fast. You can't jump as high. You can't be as strong if you're not shooting up needles and steroids and shit. You know what I mean? So that's the Marsy type, demonstration of this. The Venus type demonstration of this is, I don't have what I've seen on the internet. I don't have the perfect big old round booty that everybody say is makes a woman beautiful. I don't have the big old titties. I don't have the perfect white teeth, so on and so forth. So females literally go out and buy all of these things. The fake teeth, the drawn on eyebrows, the wigs, the lashes, the long, ridiculous, animalistic nails, the BBLs, everything on them is like Mr. Potato Head. You know what I'm saying? And they look to certain people to standardize themselves. They look to what back in the day it used to be Nicki Minaj, for example, who really started the cycle of this anxiety. And then I believe it, became, Beyonce, and then, Cardi B's and Megan Thee Stallions and so on and so forth. And you start to see that all the females look alike. They all dress alike. They all look alike. They all present themselves alike. They have the same anxieties. And so this is Virgo. Okay, it's Virgo. It's the dark version of Virgo. And what that is I can't turn the camera on if I don't look like the standard. So you have to become an entirely different person. So females of the West of America, you no longer get to see who they really are. They show up in full costume. You can't tell the difference between American women and drag queens. You can't tell the difference between Black American women, especially, and transsexuals. They all have a costume on. They buy the same stuff and put it on, and they can't accept themselves. They can't love themselves. They don't like their nose. You see my round nose? They can't have that. This is a black nose right here. You know what I mean? They can't, it gotta be straight and pointy like a European. Nigga, I ain't white, I'm black, nigga. Fuck you mean? You see what I'm saying? I got self-acceptance. My hairline, all this ain't perfect. You see what I'm saying? I'm a regular. I'm not the most handsome dude in the room. I'm regular. And you know what I mean? Am I going to die because I'm not the most handsome guy? No, because I don't put my self-esteem on that. I don't put my value on that. I don't put my identity on that. You know what I'm saying? My hair's standing on the top. You know what I'm saying? Fuck is the deal? You heard? I got self-acceptance. You know what I mean? I can show up as me. I don't got no makeup on, nigga. Fuck is you talking about? I don't need no fucking, you know what I'm saying? Look, you know what I'm saying? These is my teeth, not no horse teeth. Fucking fake ass horse teeth. There's no self-acceptance. Okay? And a lot of you out there want to make the infamous the problem. The infamous ain't the problem, B. The infamous is the opportunity. Okay? American females, y'all have become very fake and superficial. And you got it from Black American women, and Black American women got it from the infiltration and social engineering of Khazarians. Okay? It's all corporate. It's all for corporate means. The things that I point out every day that bothers you, it burdens you, it annoys you, this is my authenticity. So if you think it's karma coming back for the things that I say and do, you got another thing coming, because guess what? I'm in righteousness because I'm being authentic. I'm being real. I'm being me. I don't know about you, but I'm being me. Karma gonna come to you. Because the truth is here, but what you do when you hear the truth, you run away. We got a problem here. I'm letting you know, or I'm reminding you of where it's coming from. You see, I'm telling you, I'm reminding you of where it's coming from, but we don't really want to deal with it. Anyway, the moon, remember, collectively the moon does represent the mature evolution of females. Okay, it's when Venus was conjunct Pluto versus Pluto conjunct the moon, which was the difference of Pluto leaving Sagittarius into Capricorn and Pluto leaving Capricorn into Aquarius, okay? The first conjunction was with Venus, the second conjunction was with the moon. The first two videos of my channel, if you go all the way to the beginning of the first two videos of my channel, I explain this, okay? And it's about the maturation of females in society, okay? This is no different because the moon in Chiron, it does indicate that. Understand that. So anyway, this identity crisis is real, it's serious, but we get to heal it now with Chiron conjunct the moon in this new moon phase. It's us approaching our life purpose and the embodiment of our identity with wisdom this time and with self-acceptance this time. Mars meeting with Neptune is going to help Mars to let go of the rigid obsession with perfection that has the identity to show up inauthentic in competition or comparison of what it has been seeing on the internet or with others who it may be jealous of, envious of, or feeling inadequate in comparison to. You understand? So that there's more self-acceptance. So this could mean that many illusions that you are holding on to for confidence or for self-esteem, you may lose it. It may fall away. Mars may decide to cut it out of your life. And you may feel like something was done to you, but it's being done for you. So pay attention to that. Understand that's an opportunity. You know, for example, you may no longer be able to buy wigs. You may no longer be able to put on fake ass horse teeth. You may no longer be able to put on all that makeup or get your BBL that you was about to go. You see what I'm saying? I'm just using it as an example. So translate that to your life however it applies. But what I'm saying is, this conjunction between Mars and Neptune, it cuts out what's in the way of you showing up authentically. You healing it and accepting yourself as you are, instead of obsessing with burdening yourself with showing up in this Mr. Potato Head version of yourself, where you have to click on all this stuff and glamour girl, super glamour girl yourself every time you take a picture or you put a camera on yourself or you step outside. Nobody ever seen you before. You know what I'm saying? They only seen the glamour girl made up version that you were hiding behind. Again, apply this in your life to your context. God, is this microphone on? Like y'all niggas listening? All right, anyway. So, the moon in conjunction to Chiron, the healing phase is here, new moon phase. And what this means is that opportunities that were blocked from you, that were withheld from you, that you were disrupted from, it comes back around full circle and represents itself to you again, okay? This could be a career opportunity, relationship opportunity, something of an evolution of yourself or a meaning that you were reaching for, and you got blocked from it. You'll find the context at the house of Aries. You'll also find the context at the house of Taurus, okay? Your first house is what that experience was supposed to serve as a sense of fulfillment for you. You see what I'm saying? So it comes back around now as an opportunity that you missed the first time. You're going to feel awkward because it's going to be like, okay, the first time I tried to do it, y'all wasn't feeling me, or this one going right or that one going right, so why should I even bother now? You don't want to get in that sour attitude. You see what I'm saying? Because you're a healed version now of yourself. You're a better version of yourself now, and you're more than able. So take the opportunity.